So since you brought up the whole parenting thing, let me go there, because the other night there was some conversation in the chat just about the fact that when parents are really strict, it makes them want to rebel because they want to make some of their own decisions. And so I was trying to help them understand that, yes, your parents may be hurt by, if you're trying to hurt your parents by rebelling, you're really the one that's going to get hurt. So can you speak to that whole, and you kind of started with you get to this age where you want some independence. How does that, what do you think about teens rebelling as a result of parents, what they consider as parents being too strict?
Yeah. I understand the frustration with that. Here's what I would say. If I was talking to parents, I would talk to them about, I do think there's a time, I remember, you know, my youngest is 11, as they were growing up, I always say you go from like standing in front of them, telling them what to do, to standing really shoulder to shoulder and kind of showing them the world. And the more you try to stay in front of them, the more they are going to get this desire to rebel. So I totally get it. And I've actually had to adjust my parenting style as they got older to reflect that. But maybe your parent doesn't get that and understand that. Even when that's the case and they are strict, what you will do that will justify their strictness is when you start rebelling and making decisions that prove their point. Because no one who is in conflict with another person is going to do something to inflict pain on themselves if they're wise and mature. So what you think you're doing to hurt them really is doing long-term damage to yourself. And if that's your definition of rebellion, what you're proving to them is that, yes, you are absolutely right. I am not mature enough to navigate this because I'm going to pout, throw a temper tantrum, and go have sex and possibly put my future in jeopardy. You're not, as much as you're breaking their heart, you're damaging your future. And so that's just not what you would want to do. I think another approach is to write a letter, communicating how you feel, to look for what I call creating some agreements. Like, look, let's agree on. I remember like talking to my oldest daughter about like when she wanted to date. And it wasn't about like when you're 18 or when you're 17. It was about like, let's create some agreements around maturity, around priorities, around relationships. And if you are meeting these, your end of the bargain on these agreements, then I am willing to meet this young man, and then we can go from there. And I think it helped her navigate and feel like she had some say-so in the decision. So that's what I would tell parents. It has worked. I know all parents are different. All situations are different. So until your parents get to that point, you still have a responsibility of taking really good care of yourself, and don't let that feeling of rebellion lead to a decision of destruction.